Hey guys, it's me, Jonathan, back with another stream. I'm here a couple more times this month, minimum 4 times I think, at least. So, I think the last time I left you guys I was working on Reactor. Well, I hate to spoil it, but that's kind of where I'm stuck right now. I've been doing quite a bit of work on this place. It's kind of a hellhole, so it's a work in progress, but it's going to get better as time goes on. Forgive the lighting, it's a bit basic right now. I haven't built lighting in a bit, and I've had to move a lot of the BSP, so all the light maps are destroyed. But you get an idea of where I'm going and what I'm working on. Tonight I'm trying to focus on getting the maze, death maze. Not sure what the hell this thing really is. It's one of the places I hate the most in this game, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. Currently in here right now, it's this weird maze thing. Like, you get to it from the main reactor hallways. There doesn't really seem to be much of a purpose to it, because you can easily go into like this hidden door and bypass most of it, which is situated right here. But it's part of the game, so we got to put it in. The downside to it being a maze is that it's incredibly complex and also pretty easy to get lost in here, so I keep having to constantly flip back and forth to make sure I'm doing the work the right way. So, already lost. Let's see, I think I'm up here. At least I'm pretty sure I'm up here. Should be up here. Yeah, this looks about right. So, yeah, bear with me as I keep fleshing this thing out. I was hoping to have most of this done by the time the stream started, but this is a giant pain, so it's not being very cooperative. Shodan does not make her mazes easy to navigate, much less replicate. As always, if you guys have any questions, or if you want to just chat, feel free to send messages. Carly's here with me as well, so we are...
Hi.
Sorry to cut you off there. But we're always monitoring chat as much as we can, so. But you guys are going to like this a lot more when I get the, what do you call it, the light maps built. Actually, you know what, let me give you a preview of what this thing's going to look like. To effectively make the lights temporarily dynamic, I just need to select all of them, which I'll do from here, and then just move them slightly, and it will actually kick them all back into position again and make them function. Alright, that should do it. Now if I grab one of these and move it left and then move it right. Whew, doesn't like that I'm doing this. Well, Unreal, whenever you decide to catch up with me, let me know.
Unreal's just as lost as you.
Yeah, I don't think it likes that I'm moving about 200 lights simultaneously. Oh. Okay, never mind then. I think it's just not letting me do it at all.
Illegal movements.
Alright, so here's an idea. There we go. So as I move each one of these lights, you can kind of get an idea of what the lighting is really supposed to be in here. So it's not going to be as bright. Once it's done building, it's a little bit darker. But the end result should be pretty cool. I've been embellishing what was there already. Let's actually get out of this maze. This place infuriates me. I've been working on it all night. It's driving me nuts. Let's see, I think this is the way out. Pretty sure. Yeah, this is it. So one of the things I've done to these areas, if you come back in here and take a look, it should be around the corner here. I've actually, let me move some of these lights over too. There we go. Alright, now you can kind of see what well, you can kind of sort of see. Let me get some more lights. It's going to be a very dark game when we're done, I think.
You need a flashlight.
Thankfully, we come with one. Or you can find one, at least. Alright, so, again, one of the things I've done to upgrade these original levels a little bit is utilizing some of the existing textures to give this like side piece trim some kind of depth and interest to it. As you can see here, it's really kind of bland. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Over here, I've actually taken the, what do you call it, the titanium paneling that you find a lot in the maintenance level and some of the other levels, and used it as kind of a trim piece so that it at least looks like kind of like a decking, sort of, rather than just random panels kind of situated in the wall. I feel like that adds a bit more depth to this and makes it look a little bit more interesting. So hopefully that works well. At least it worked.
Darkblue mentions that he loves when you turn on the game mode and shows glimpses of what it's going to look like. And I agree, it does look really cool.
Yeah, I'll show you something else too while we're here. Where are we at? So the experimental low G area. One of the things I did was I've actually been putting in the little tri-op icons that never got used in the game, including the warning sign. It's kind of redundant, but I like it. It adds a bit of character to this spot. Another thing that I've done too is where this room was basically just a bunch of random lights all flickering on and off, kind of like a disco party. I have kind of reimagined it. I took these lights off the wall and put them on the ceiling instead, and then took the walls and replaced the lights with energy conduits, which I think looks significantly better. Again, it's all a matter of subjective opinion though, so...
What, you don't like disco room?
Disco room. But yeah, I think it kind of adds a bit of character to this and makes it look a bit more like a functional room, or at least more like it's supposed to. It's like a 0G area, so it's all highly experimental, as it would say on the wall here, but I'm trying to make it look like it's not just a normal room, but rather that it looks like it's been messed with and ripped apart to its most basic components. So instead of putting up fancy wall paneling to hide the conduits, you can actually just clearly see them. So I added more of these lights, but unfortunately the way that this level has been built kind of makes the lights spill over, as you can see here. There is no thickness to these walls, so these lights actually kind of bleed through, which is kind of a problem. As you can see here, this is not really what it should look like. We'll have to find some way to work around that in the future. But for the time being, we've got something that at least functions. So, could be worse, could be better. It's all a work in progress until the game's finally done. Yeah, let's get back to that maze so I can keep kind of plonking around in there. I'll head back out to this area as soon as I'm done. There's not a whole bunch left to do in here. I just have to kind of figure out where the hell I'm at. So, as I recall, I went in here, and then I took an immediate left, went down, went up, and these planes should actually be turned on when game mode is on, so I need to put that on there. There it is. Now they're showing up in game. Okay, so I think I'm in the right spot. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. Ooh, no, don't fall down. Okay, so this is kind of a mini pipe world. So I just need to add that stuff to it. Hopefully I'll...
Darkblue wants to say, this is looking awesome. I'm getting excited all over again, loving the lighting and smoke effect.
Don't thank me for the smoke effects too early. That's actually stuff that's already existed in the game, but I'll make sure to let Chris know that the particle effects look awesome to you guys. He did a real number on this. I'm just using what already exists. It's a team environment, so all the guys, or all the guys and girls have a hand in what we're doing. But yeah, really glad to hear you guys enjoy what you're seeing here. It's a good, not good, but rather very encouraging. Well, it's good. It's encouraging and good to hear, rather than, you know, the opposite, right? Alright, what's on the ceiling up here? More of these halogen lights. Where are my halogen lights? There we go. I'll come in here and light this thing up in a little bit too. Okay, fluid transport pipes. Pretty sure this is the same spot. Looking at this, and then, no, maybe it's not. That's why I hate this maze. It's confusing as hell. Okay. From here, if I go left, that's where I'm at right now. If I go left, what's here? One block down. Okay. Come over here. It's one. Okay, I'm in the right spot. Cool. It's just a little irritating to constantly try to figure out where exactly I'm at in this particular spot. But the sooner I get this thing out of the way, the better I'm going to be. And I have to adjust the geometry of this map so that I can accommodate the textures. As you can see, this is one giant block, and that's why this power conduit textures across the whole thing. So to get this to look the way it's supposed to, I have to move all this stuff around. Multiple times, in fact. Because that's a different texture entirely right there. It starts out with this fluid transport pipe here, and then it turns into a power conduit, and then it turns back into fluid transport pipes. There we go. That should be accurate, and it is. But of course I need to also adjust some other components to make the textures fit. It's a never-ending exercise to constantly do this, but it's fun. I'm telling you, man, like, I think I mentioned it before, but I'm pretty sure, like, 10-year-old me is, like, super jealous of everything I'm doing right now.
I'm trying to type, and my cat is just spread himself all over my lap and keeps, like, grabbing me.
Wish I had a cat that did that. My cat's, like...
I just tossed him.
My cats won't even sit on my lap. My dog, however, he'll sit on my lap. Cats will not, though.
He's mad at me that I threw him onto the bed, but I give him his toy and now he's fighting it.
Your cats seem to have a lot of personality.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so that part is mostly done. It begins again. I have to constantly edit this BSP. I need to get Daniel a time machine so he can do... Well, actually, I wouldn't want him to do this block by block. It's torture. Every texture has to be its own block, otherwise it doesn't look right. Yeah, I do have a snake that loves me. That's a good point. I don't even know if snakes are capable of love, honestly. I think they just kind of slither around and stick their tongue out and then bite you if they're pissed off.
Snakes can love, they told me.
You ever been bitten by a snake before?
Nope.
I've been bitten by my little snake. It's kind of funny that his teeth can't even hurt me, so it's like being gummed.
I've been bit by a lizard, though.
What kind of lizard?
I don't know, the ones that are outside. Just the basic lizard.
I was gonna say, we have...
Default lizard.
We have like these little tiny lizards called anoles here in Florida, and they're like everywhere. I mean, you can't walk outside without seeing like 15 or 20 of them skitter around trying to get away from you.
That's cute. We have something similar, but they're brown. I'm looking at pictures of these, and our default one's just like a tiny brown lizard.
Try looking up like brown anole, A-N-O-L-E, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
It looks similar to what's here, just without that little flap.
Yeah, the little like it's only a male thing too. Like only the males have that little flap under their neck. It's funny watching them too, because like they'll sit here like this, and then they'll bob up and down with their head, and this little flap will come out like this. It's like some kind of mating ritual, I think. I just catch the little buggers and I toss them in the snake tank, and then he finishes them off.
That's so sad.
Hey, it's free snake food. You know how much mice cost?
I do.
They're pricey. Why buy mice when you have tons of invasive, non-native lizards outside that the snake will eat?
Cat food's way more expensive, especially when you have picky cats.
Thankfully, my cats are not picky when it comes to eating food.
My little cat accidentally licked oil today because he thought it was water. He hopped up on the counter and he saw oil and he licked it, and then he was very confused.
Jesus, you scared me. I was thinking motor oil for a second.
Oh no, like cooking oil.
And Simic asks, are those the ones that shift color? They do not shift color. Those are chameleons you're thinking of. They're just brown. They stay brown all year long.
When I looked them up, they were green, and I had to type in brown, like you said.
There's two different versions. The one that's green is the Carolina anole, which is native, but the brown ones they came from Cuba, and they've basically taken over the ecosystem that the green ones used to live in. So now they're kind of living in the trees. You'll see some pretty gutsy ones running around on the ground, but it's really rare to see green ones. It's sad too, because they're really cool looking. Oh god, I hate this place. It's such a maze. I feel so sorry for Daniel for having had to build this. Like, I'm already lost trying to think about where I'm at. Oof. Okay, that's right, you can climb these cables though. I have so much respect for the work that Daniel did getting this all put together, man. Like a one-man operation doing this entire station block by block. For how many months did he do this?
I don't know, it was actually quite fast though. I was surprised.
Yeah. You gotta...
Like way faster than I thought it would be.
I love this game, man, but I don't think you could pay me enough money to build this thing block by block. Like, oof. That is tough. I would have gotten bored halfway through and started working on the textures like I am now. Alright, it's starting to come together. We might actually be out of here in the next 5 minutes. How the hell did I just come... Oh, okay, that's right. It's a maze. I just came back to the spot I started in. Oh, gosh. Let me add some there we are, reflection captures in here. So if I don't do that now, I'm going to forget to do it, and it's going to be super bright when the lighting gets built. If you guys are watching this stream currently, you can actually see the effect of the reflection capture. See how it's turning completely black? That's because there's a master reflection that's controlling the entire map, because it's big enough to encompass the whole thing, and it happens to be next to a bunch of lights, which is why it's reflecting that yellow light. And as I move this closer, it's only reflecting what's in here, which is pretty dark. So there's really nothing for it to really reflect at all. So it ends up kind of fixing it, in a sense. Cool, alright. Back to where I was. To the right, to the left, and then look down. More of these cables. Cables, cables everywhere. Any questions yet? Seems like chat's pretty...
No, no questions.
What are they talking about anyway? I have to know.
Sorry, I'm refreshing things right now because our thing's not updating.
Uh-oh. You mean the Twitch stream?
Yeah.
That's no good.
The things, the category's supposed to be creative,
Uh-huh.
but it just won't change.
Oh no, that's strange. It should already be defaulted to that.
It isn't default that. You have to change it on your end in Streamlabs when you go live. So if you didn't, then it wouldn't default to it.
I remember doing it at one point. I've never actually had to change it before. Besides the one time that I did it.
It probably said don't starve together when you went live because mine changes every single time we change it.
Huh.
On my Streamlabs, it always does.
Interesting. Oh, this place is...
Cool, it finally updated.
Okay, cool. This place is such a nightmare. I want to be out of here. Okay, looking up. Where the hell am I even at? Okay, I know where I'm at now. Why is there stuff above me? Okay, that's... Okay, that makes more sense now. For Christ's sake, there's like 10 different levels in this place. So that's done. Climb these walls. Oops, can't climb that. That's not a wall. Alright, so it's this weird red panel all the way through here. Alright, more panels. I think I'm on the last leg of this maze. Alright. Where is the light that I need? There it is. Oh my god, I think I did it. I think I'm done. Oh, only a little bit more. Oh, no. Spoke too soon. Okay, a couple more wall pieces left. Ooh, what's going on over here? That should be down here. There we go. All right. Successfully navigated the maze. This time for real.
This time, no
Now if I
jokes.
can get the hell out of this place. There we go. Made it up.
Humibon wants to know, climbable is a property of the material. Also, will there be a pass at the levels that adds an extra level geometry or detail beyond just the debris?
So climbable refers to the fact that these cables in Shock 1 are actually like ladders. So when I walk up to this, I can just grab onto it and climb. You can climb up as pretty much as high as you want, as long as there's the ability to touch that. You should also be able to mantle on it and just kind of walk along the edge of it. Kind of like that. So in the game, it is a property of the material, but yeah, we're definitely going to be adding extra level geometry for the release of the remaster, the remake, not the remaster. To my knowledge, we're still planning on taking the work that I'm currently doing and turning it into an extra game mode, because really I've already done the work and there's no reason to toss it out. But the remaster by default, I mean, if you want an idea of the extra level geo and stuff that goes into this, just compare medical versus the original medical. Let me load it up for you and I'll give you a demonstration. Of course, I loaded the wrong map. I loaded original medical, not new medical. Okay. So, if we load, let me save reactor so I can come back to where I was a second ago.
Quick question, will there be mantling and other advanced movement?
I would assume so, but that's out of my league with which to speculate on. I honestly don't know, but I would assume so. Alright, so if we go in here, which is probably one of the better lit areas of the remake, you can see that these triangle pieces are pretty, kind of basic. There's no detail here with which to accentuate the fact that that's an edge. But if you come in here and look at the remake, you'll see that it actually does have additional geometry to kind of give it a little bit of depth and make it look more like padding rather than just random textures applied to the wall. If I add a light, it's even more obvious. Actually, yeah, I have to add a light. So you see how that works? It's definitely a bit more visually interesting than this. If you keep tabbing back and forth, you can see, like, it even has railings and whatnot too. Pretty much anything you can walk up has the ability to, you can like have a handhold on it. So, and it all keeps that retro art style with the pixelation, and the pixel density is 100% consistent between each one. The same pixel size is the same pixel size no matter what. So. Alright, don't save that. I don't want to change medical because Chris would kill me. Alright, so now we're back into this room. And I also need to reload my save. By the way, the updated, source port is now the enhanced edition, right?
Oh, the source port stuff is complete, so we have an updated version of the enhanced edition. I was going to get to that at the end and link everyone all the stuff. But if you don't already own enhanced edition, it is currently 50% off on Steam.
You should totally own it.
And I can link that. Though at this point, I think pretty much everyone watching would be wants to own it.
You should own it. It's the best. It's so cool how, like, we got the source code to kind of do a soft remake of the original game, but just almost, I'm trying to say Doom 2016'd it, but we didn't at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, it's still the same game, but it's just, like, isn't it basically in a brand new engine and everything, too?
Sorta. If you look at, I linked the Steam store page. You'll see in the community section, like right below the images, Daniel has written up all the changes, so it's easy to read.
It seems like there's a significant amount of work that had to go into remaking it, essentially.
Yep. And we want to thank everyone in our Discord community for testing it.
I never thought I'd see the day when this game would like actually be something that was modernized. Just never thought I'd ever see that happen, much less like anybody would ever find the source code to it. I see Daniel made this room an extra block wide. Interesting. I've noticed that with a few rooms here and there, like they just tend to be like 1 block wider than normal. Unless I'm miscounting here. 1 block, 2 block. No, it's a 3 block wide room. Yeah. Interesting.
People are talking about being sad about the source port enhanced edition thing being not on GOG yet and Windows only. Everything else, like Linux, Mac, GOG, everything else will be coming at a later date. We just don't have a timeline for it, and we will announce when those things come. It's just soon TM currently.
Soon TM. The go-to phrase. What is that? It's a data transfer. I should have one of those. There it is. Power coupling and molybdenum paneling. And this thing is lit up with halogen light bulbs. Cool. Alright, now that I've done this, ooh. Oh, that's where that connects to, okay. Oh yeah, I can never really figure out how to unlock this door. I always forget how that's done. I usually just go around, I never really care enough to, or what's the phrase, can't be arsed to bother figuring it out. Just go in there and just get it over with. Move around. I'm sure there's like a cyberspace lock or something you have to open it with. Somebody in chat probably knows. Hidden door. That's mine now. Thank you. Oh, it's so annoying. So you have to still go all the way around. I guess that's what the purpose of this maze is. It's like the only way to get through that door. Because you can't open it. And yes, Daniel is rubbing off on me in terms of phrases, but I find there's a lot of things in proper King's English or Queen's English that you can't really convey without saying it like that. Like, American English just doesn't work for some phrases. Like, there's just so many things you can say.
Can't be asked.
What's that?
So it can't be asked.
Yeah, it doesn't work, you know? And
Sounds funnier though.
but the phrase itself, like, I just can't be arsed. It just works so well for so many things. It's like, yeah, I was gonna mow my yard today, but I just couldn't be arsed.
I was gonna mow my lawn today, but I couldn't be asked.
Sounds so weird. Alright, so, yeah. I'm just trying to think of I can't think of any other way to get around to that door. I swear it's like permanently locked. If somebody in chat knows the solution to that, please let me know, because normally, like I said, I just can't be arsed and I go around it. But this time around, I would like to know, because I'd like to be able to go back and forth between this door and the other side and not have to run through this goddamn maze. Oh, I hate this part of the map so much, so much. I mean, I guess I could just save a save state on either side and just reload it, and that would probably save me some headache. Alright, I'm on the other side of this door. Let's continue working. That's interesting. Daniel made this section of wall twice as thick as it normally is. I wonder why. I can't see any, like, obvious reason off the top of my head here. Must be something to do with, like, zero width doors or something. If I recall, that's usually why he changes stuff. Nobody knows the door. Tell me, please. You know, I want to know how to get past this stupid door. One could make the argument that I should already know working on this game, but damn it, I don't know. I will freely admit that. Just because you're a game developer doesn't mean you're omniscient. I had better be able to go prone or there'll be riots. You know, I'm kind of with him on that. Like, it bothers me in some games, when, like System Shock 2, you couldn't go prone. Like, you can go prone in Shock 1, but for some reason Goggles can't just lay on his belly and scoot around. Did you know that you can put, like, equip your roller skates and you can scoot around in your belly?
Scoot, scoot. Yeah, we talked about that, I think, last stream, actually, or the stream before that. Not us, but, like, we the stream.
Ah, okay. Was it that on our team meeting, or...?
It was either on the team one we talked about it, or was it on a Daniel one? I forget.
You know what? This is bothering me enough that I want to actually go and see if I can unlock this stupid door by going into cyberspace. And as I recall, I have to go through this dumb maze yet again to get into cyberspace. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. It should be super easy because I got everything set on the easiest mode possible. Alright, cyberspace should be around this corner. I believe it's this room right here, yep. Ah, Flight Simulator version 2.0. Gotta love it. I probably should have grabbed myself something to attack with. I think that's it. That's drill.
Oops.
I can't wait to see what we do with this. Like in the end, it's going to be interesting. Like, I'm not even joking. This actually looks like one of the earliest versions of Microsoft's flight simulators. Alright, this is a switch. Blast door unlocked. I bet that's it right there. That's got to be it. Now, where do I go to get out of here? Ah, there we go. Armory access overridden. Give me some more free loot, thank you. Ooh, is that something hidden? Ah, Troubleshooting Fun Pack module. No, I don't need that. I don't even have the game's accessed on this thing anyway.
Oh, looks like someone joined our voice channel.
Hello, hello.
Holy crap and a pita, it's Steve.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, you should know that phrase. You watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Holy crap and a pita? I don't remember that one.
That's from the Broodwitch episode.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like when Master Shake goes, like he falls down into the, like he's digging up the front yard to get rid of the azalea bushes that Frylock told him to plant. And then like...
Right, and then he goes and falls down into the cavern.
Yeah, and then like he's like, oh, I got it, and he like goes to smack the pipe with the shovel, and it activates the flame or whatever on the pipe, and then he's like, holy crap and a pita! Monsters! That's one of those phrases that's been burned into my memory.
I remember the Broodwitch had sun-dried tomatoes on him, and he ate the whole sandwich but the sun-dried tomatoes, and so he couldn't take his soul.
Oh, I love that episode. It's one of my favorite ones.
I think my favorite one is, I can only describe it this way. It's got BillyWitchDoctor.com, the giant mega ultra chicken.
Yeah, ultra mega chicken.
BillyWitchDoctor.com with one convenient location in Africa.
Now what's
Mega Ultra Chicken?
What's that?
No, he is legend.
What's that thing he has them say? Like he has them hold hands, and then he's like,
"Oh, we are so king. We totted."
Now repeat all very fast. Not so fast. It loses meaning. Oh my god, it's been such a long time since I've been able to nerd out on that show with someone.
Trekkie has a question. Are you using static or stationary lights?
It's a combination of both. We use stationary for dynamic lighting, and we use static lighting for light mapped stuff. So most of these lights are going to be static, except for the flickery ones. Those are going to be stationary/dynamic. So that is how we do. At least on this particular project. We might even use movable lights for some stuff, but the vast majority is going to be static with the occasional what do you call it? Stationary light. Ooh, it's the death machine. Yeah, this isn't terribly scary once Combat Zero is activated. She's like, welcome to my death machine, and then nothing happens, except the lights turn out.
I'm scared.
I know, right? We have a good opportunity to make this like really like kind of a jump scare area though in the next version.
Himimon wants to does both types of light cast shadows?
So yes and no. So dynamic lighting casts dynamic shadows, right? Actually, it's better to just show you. So right now what you're seeing is a preview of the lights. These are static lights, but they're displaying in a way that is dynamic. This is not what they're going to look like in the final product, because this is incredibly high quality. But if I was to take these lights and make them into movable lights, these are completely, utterly dynamic. There's no light mapping whatsoever on them. They are also the slowest possible option to render in this engine, but they allow you to do a lot of cool stuff. Stationary lights and movable lights allow you to do things like this. So you can get that sweet flicker effect that is like literally everywhere in the station. stationary lights are, from what I recall, a little easier to render than the movable lights are. They're kind of like a combination between baked lighting and non-baked lighting. But don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely, utterly sure. I don't normally, actually, before I started working on this project, I did everything in complete dynamic lighting just because I had no reason to do otherwise. So now that I work with light mapping and constantly building lighting and all that fun stuff, it's a definitely interesting experience because you actually get, like with the static lights, you get global illumination where the light bounces off the ground and it lights up the entire area rather than just this pool of light right here. So like these lights over here, like this, it'll actually be brighter and look a bit better.
Neato.
Yeah, real-time global illumination was like not something that was terribly like even thought of being possible until like a few years back, I think. I remember GI being such a huge deal back in the mid-2000s. For like offline renderers, it was like kind of the thing that you would always use to make all your stuff look cool. But now, like, even Unreal has it, so it's not as special as it used to be. But it's kind of why, like, a lot of the lighting in games looks so much better now. So, anyway, how are you doing, Steve? I haven't talked to you in a couple days.
I'm doing good. Just been busy, of course. Trying to think if I can get into any specifics. It's like I'll work like all day and then I'll kind of turn myself off and then not remember what I did all day. But it's usually pretty busy stuff. Yeah, I've just been good. Been good, no complaints.
Been good.
I had some time today to mow the lawn.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Super exciting.
Speaking of mowing the lawn, that's what we were using as an example of words earlier. Because Jonathan was saying arsed to mow the lawn, and I was saying asked to mow the lawn to compare how it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, how about you be the tiebreaker on this, Steve? What do you think sounds better? I couldn't be arsed, or I couldn't be asked?
I just couldn't be asked to do it, right? Sounds great. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Would arse again.
Oh
no,
my.
Would ass again.
Well, what's the vote? What do you think?
This is a weird question. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what to answer. I kind of like arsed. Kind of a fan. But did you say arsed and asked?
She said asked.
Yeah, just straight up A-S-S, baby. Asked? He, she, we asked?
I think like if there was a formal version of this, it would be arsed, and then ass would just be kind of like the slang. So I mean, they're both great.
Oh yeah, the best words. It is the best word. It's funny too, like when I was a kid, I had no idea that arse was even a word. Growing up in Florida and not having any contact with British people at all. And then you get on the internet and it's like, what the hell are all these words people are using? Like, none of this makes any sense to me.
Why are there so many U's in these?
Oh, yeah, why? It's so simple to write color without a U. Why would you write it with a U?
Calor.
Calor.
That's how you pronounce it, right? Calor.
Let's get a little French sounding, I think.
And townie. Shoppe.
Shopping.
Just words that exist in our world.
And we are offending all these people.
Get in a queue.
Get in a queue. That makes sense, though. Like, you do line up in a queue, right? Right?
I do say Q. Because you queue up, queue in line. That is one I do say.
That makes sense to me.
Don't queue about the queue.
I love going through all these, as I'm working on this, seeing all the stuff Daniel's done. Like, little, patch pickups and all the other different items and whatnot he had time to place.
Oh yeah.
I was, praising him earlier. I'm like, I don't even understand how he did all of this so fast, much less maintained his sanity while doing it. Like, this is a lot of work. I mean, just the texturing aspect of this is very time consuming, but just imagining how much effort he went through to do all of this map, it's crazy. Okay, this is another one of those rooms I'm just gonna change, because none of this makes any damn sense. Like, you suddenly have medical lighting on the walls with this reactor lighting and these reactor wall panels. I think
What were they thinking?
I don't... Gonna bite my tongue there. And I'm going to say something nice. I don't know what was going through their minds in 1993, 94 when they made this, but I think this is one of the design decisions that needs to be updated for the modern times.
Probably a lot of Surge and Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish. God damn. That's old. You're old.
You're old.
I am, but so are you.
But that's what was going through their heads, most likely.
I remember when I was a kid, like, my parents were divorced, and my mom, in one of the rare circumstances when a man actually wins the custody battle, which it's not normal in the court system for that to happen, at least not in this state. Somehow my mom lost custody of me, but she would have to come and visit me every so often. And I remember one of the days, it was like 95 or so, she came over to come spend some time with me. And the first thing out of her mouth wasn't like, hey John, I love you, it's been a while, I haven't seen you. It was like, hey boy, do you listen to Hootie and the Blowfish?
No way.
Yeah, I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't even know what Hootie and the Blowfish is, because I lived with my dad and my grandmother at the time, and I didn't really have much exposure.
And they don't like the Hootie.
Yeah, see, my dad only listened to classic rock, so, like...
Well, perfect upbringing.
Yeah, all I did was listen to, like, Skynyrd and Guns N' Roses and stuff like that.
There you go.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but, I mean, like, all these kids are listening to, like, all this new music and stuff, and here I am listening to the stuff that, like, I mean, I think I may have mentioned this story, but, like, I remember being in middle school, and it was in one of the technology classes that I had, and people were like, what do you listen to? And I'm like, classic rock, and they just start laughing in my face, and I'm like...
I think you did tell me that, yeah, and I was like, wow.
Thanks, dick.
What kind of universe is it where the cool kids get made fun of?
In fairness, you know, this was the 90s, there was a lot better music back then. Like, if you had the choice to listen to something between... Like, if you had to listen to Stone Temple Pilots or Guns N' Roses, like, what would you have chosen?
Oh, Stone Temple Pilots,
exactly.
I think.
Especially if you're in the 90s, right?
Wait, who are who? I was typing. Who are who?
So if you were going to have the choice, like, you know, you're a kid in the 90s, what would you have listened to? Stone Temple Pilots or Guns N' Roses?
You know, probably, if we're talking about the 90s, I would probably have said Guns N' Roses, because at that point I didn't know who Stone Temple Pilots were. Because, yeah, just that was my knowledge back then. I'm gonna be honest and real here.
That's okay. Again, I didn't have any real exposure to music as a kid, so... well, let me rephrase.
My mom loved the oldies radio. That's what we mostly listened to.
Wait, define oldies for us, please.
Oldies radio, like, there's a station that's, like, literally oldies radio.
But how do you define an oldie? Like, what would an oldie be?
Oh, what was the oldie?
I don't fully know, but I think it was late 40s all the way to about...
40s?
Yeah, late 40s all the way to about early 80s.
Damn, and I thought I had, like, no access to modern music. Oof.
Well, that's just what my mom preferred. I listen to older music a lot, and it's good. It's good time.
Sometimes it do be like that. Sometimes.
I still really love going to like goth industrial 80s clubs. It's a lot of fun.
Goth industrial 80s clubs. What is that? I need to know.
Well, that's the music genre, and then add club to it.
I mean, I like 80s music.
Like as a place you would go.
But I've never heard of a goth
So, like-
industrial 80s genre.
Like we're talking Echo and the Bunnymen kind
Oh
of
yeah,
stuff.
that counts too. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Or I'm drawing a blank here. Basically like half the stuff from the Donnie Darko soundtrack, maybe.
Definitely. That all definitely would be playing.
How annoyed
For
are you
sure.
going to be if I say I've never seen that movie?
Not annoyed.
Mildly.
How incredulous are you going to be? Is that better?
I really do like the movie, but like I could see people missing it. I made Raul watch it recently because he had never seen it. But he hasn't seen most movies.
We're kind of in the same boat.
Donnie Darko, I think, was just like the perfect movie for that time period. Like what, 2001?
Oh,
When
yeah.
that movie came out, something like
For
that.
sure.
Yeah.
I need
I
to double check
love
on
it.
the date. I'm not positive, but it was very of the time. Perfect.
Yeah.
Can you see the stream, Steve?
Yep, I'm watching.
What do you think of this corridor with the blood red fog in the distance?
Looks great.
I always like how happy you are
Yeah,
with the
looks-
stuff that I show off. In my old job, I would show my boss stuff, and he'd be like, "Ugh." But like you're all like, "Oh my god, this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen!" It's a nice change of pace to be appreciated for a change.
I'm glad to do that for you. I'm more excited about letting everybody else into the build and seeing it and getting to experience
oh hell
it.
yeah, man!
Oh yeah, that'll be the best.
I can't wait to see what people are going to say about this when they get to run around in these station halls that we've been meticulously building for the past few months.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just I just finished the Kickstarter update, and Carly's going to be putting that out tomorrow, probably
Sooner than that.
sooner than that.
Tomorrow, unless I can hold off.
You could do it tonight if you want. It's up to you.
I wonder how the chat feels.
Tonight. You know what they're going to say. They want to see it tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it just we're showing off a lot more stuff that Jonathan's been working on. There's a lot of doors
Oh my gosh.
that we'll get to see, but you can never have enough doors.
RealFakeDoors.com.
I know I made a real fake doors joke in the Kickstarter.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Come on down to Real Fake Doors.
Are you tired of all these real doors going to places? Well, come on down to real fake doors.
Can you believe they got renewed for like, what was it, 70 some more episodes or whatever it was to get syndication?
Rick and Morty
You
did?
didn't hear about that? Like they're getting renewed for like 4 more seasons.
Oh, good.
Something like, I think they ordered another 70 episodes.
Oh, good. I think I did catch that. It's just been a while since I've seen any news.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching Gravity Falls. Have you seen that?
My daughter watches that.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Too bad it's so short. I wish they went on longer.
Yeah, it's only 2 seasons,
That's it?
but it's so good. And Justin Roiland is a character on that show.
Oh yeah.
And there's a whole sequence in a couple of the episodes where they watch TV, and it's basically like little tamer bits of interdimensional cable.
So the creators, Alex Hirsch and Justin Roiland, are very good friends. And during one of the H3 podcasts, a charity one, they were both on it. And while they were very, very drunk, they did Grunkle Stan and Rick doing karaoke together in the
No
voices.
way.
It was really good. I'll have to find the clip.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to watch
you want to hear
that.
something else that's weird? Or interesting?
Yes.
Have you ever seen Steven Universe?
Yeah.
My daughter watches that.
That show.
I don't watch it, but my daughter does. Now, not to say there's anything wrong with it, but just to clarify. So I was looking at the Aqua Teen subreddit. I think it's like Aqua Jail. and someone had mentioned that the guy that does Carl's voice was also in Steven Universe as like his uncle as a pilot or something, and I went and watched the clip with it, and it's fucking Carl flying a plane. You have to watch it. It's like it's Carl's voice actor using Carl, but in a nice, like, not sexist or derogatory or like hateful way. Just being a nice guy. It sounds so weird.
That's
'Cause
bizarre.
you just expect Carl to sound like this trashy, like, garbage of a person.
Yeah.
But I think I think my favorite quote from him has got to be the one where like Shake kills himself to go inside the video game, the video Ouija that Meatwad's playing.
Oh yeah.
And then like he like walks over to Frylock. He's like, you have any idea what this is over here? And he's like, no. I mean, he's like it goes on for a bit, but like towards the end, he's like so you gonna clean that Shake stew out of my pool? No. Okay. Watch your back.
Watch your back.
That is my favorite quote out of the whole series. It's just
Steve, I sent you the link and I posted it in the main chat. The clip from Justin Roiland and Alex Hirsch singing "I've Got You, Babe."
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of Richard and Mortimer, have you seen that jail reenactment thing that they did? The judge thing?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, from Florida.
Oh my, that wasn't Florida. Don't even loop us into that.
That was Florida, wasn't it?
No, that was something else.
I thought it was from Florida.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, not one word of that can be mentioned on this stream, but
yeah, we can be like a bit raunchy at times, but like that is just another level.
Beep,
yeah.
Limits.
Beep boop. HR present.
That's all I have to say when something goes too far. I go beep boop. Steven Universe is a top tier show in my opinion. I really enjoy it.
I actually watched it.
I haven't watched too much of it.
The first season and a half to 2 seasons is harder because it is kind of introductory in the same way that Adventure Time was, and it is more youth oriented, but as it goes on the story gets deeper and it's very good.
Ugh. Adventure Time is not a show I can watch.
I love Adventure Time.
Rip Adventure Time.
I love it so much.
I can't get past the art style. I hate the art style.
It's so cute.
It just ended, if that makes you feel
No,
better.
I don't
it's
take
over.
pleasure in other people's misery.
Well, I mean, it had to end eventually. There's no sadness in something ending. It's better than it going on too long.
Well, as Q would say, all good things must come to an end.
All Good Things Part 1 and Part 2.
That's such a damn good episode, man.
Yeah.
I got my kid watching.
Oh, I know.
Have you seen the remastered TNG yet?
Did they remaster it?
Holy shit, you're serious. You didn't know this.
I know that I have the remastered, the original series.
Okay, so just go to Netflix, watch, we'll skip season 1 and 2 because they suck. Go directly to season 3 and just watch. I mean, I went to they remastered it for Blu-ray release back in like 2012, and I remember actually going to a theater release of the first couple of episodes. And Jesus, dude, it looks so much better. Like it's in
Really?
full 1080p. Like the colors and everything have been enhanced. Like all the effects have been remastered. Like.
And those versions are on Netflix?
Yeah, they put it on Netflix not too long ago.
Well then.
I'm just hoping that one day they'll do Deep Space Nine and Voyager. DS9 more than Voyager. I could probably live without Voyager, but.
Have you seen the remastered versions of the original series?
I've seen the comparisons of it, but I can't. As much as I love Star Trek, I can't sit through TOS, man. It is so dated.
Yeah,
it's so boring.
It's pretty dry.
It is. It's so hard to watch. Like it took. You're gonna hate me for this one, but like my wife literally fell asleep through The Wrath of Khan. Because it was, I mean, I can see why.
I'm not gonna blame anybody for that.
I can see why.
I mean,
it's such a boring movie in the beginning. Like, it is long, but like, it's not like the snore fest that was the motion picture.
you know, okay, so the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is the most boring thing ever created. But, you know, now that I'm, you know, a little bit older, and, you know, I appreciate it a lot more for what it is.
The motion picture?
Yeah, I mean, it's very 2001.
It is. I'll give it that, but I'll give Red Letter Media some credit when he says it's one of those movies that you kind of put on, and then you go out and you do your laundry, and then you go to the gas station to fill up a tank, and then you go out and you mow your yard, and then you make dinner, and then you go to sleep,
and then it's still on.
It's still on. Yeah, it's one of those movies. It just doesn't stop.
I will say that when I think about watching a movie, it's probably the last thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, don't think I'm subject my wife or my kids to that. It's Star Trek, but it's before it really found its footing, I think. And
it was brave. It was brave for what it did. You know,
brave choices, pretty brave.
Did you courageous? Did you watch the Red Letter Media review, the Plinkett review of The Last Jedi?
I've seen pretty much all his Star Wars reviews because, full disclosure, I absolutely hate Star Wars. And it's so much fun to just listen to him just completely shit on them. Just utterly rips them apart. Like, all the prequels.
Yeah.
Like, he has, like... Another full disclosure, I love Star Trek Generations, the movie, the Kirk and Picard movie. Because when I went to go see it in theaters, like, it still resonates with me a lot. Mostly the music. The plot is a little kind of weird, but like, he craps on that one too, and I can see why. But like, he doesn't crap on it like he craps on the prequels to Star Wars. Like, he had one, I think it was like maybe 20 minutes of him crapping on Generations. He has like multiple hours of him crapping on Star Wars, just over and over. It was like a 10-part series.
I know. I've watched them all probably at least 3 or 4 dozen times.
It is.
Because
oh my god.
When I was working at Sony, I was working on a Star Wars game, and it just drove me nuts. And those had like just come out, and they were just. It was like the perfect pressure valve for having to work on Star Wars stuff. Which, to be fair, it was really cool. Like, we got to see and do a lot of interesting things with the Star Wars stuff, but I just wasn't a fan of the prequels. But yeah, so he just released a Plinkett review of The Last Jedi.
I'm sure he's not kind to it.
And he makes some really great points about the differences between Star Trek movies and Star Wars movies. So I think you'd be interested to see.
Can you spoil it for me?
It was in defense of what you were saying about Wrath of Khan and the motion picture, I think, because at least he's saying at least what Star Trek tried to do with the original movies was do something completely different and wild every time.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Whereas, yeah, I mean, like, there's a movie entirely dedicated to, like, putting Spock's soul back in his body. There's a movie dedicated to going back in time,
saving the whales,
and basically transporting whales into the future to communicate with this thing that's about to destroy Earth. Like, it's just insane.
It is.
But then in Star Wars, it's like every single movie, it's like there's a rebels and the Empire, and there's a giant doomsday weapon. Like, that's my Plinkett voice.
It's pretty accurate, actually.
That's like all it is, and that's all they did in freaking Force Awakens and Last Jedi. So it's like, at least Star Trek, you know,
did something else. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to tell interesting stories and not just do fan service stuff.
What do you think about the new Trek movies?
I got really mixed feings. I think my favorite one is the last one, Beyond.
Yeah, it's a good movie. As much as people may not like it, I definitely enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to see in theater.
It was the most Star Trek-y kind of episode, like if they had taken an episode and just made it really long. Yeah. So that was really cool. The thought the second one was okay, but the more that I watch the first one, the more I dislike it.
Actually,
mostly because
I was gonna say the more I watch the first one, the more I like it. It's just, it was so fresh, you know. It was like, it may not be the best story ever written, but man, it was really the kick in the pants that franchise needed.
I won't argue with that. It was very exciting to watch the first couple times. I think my biggest beef is just with the characters, though. Like, mostly the antagonist, Nero.
But he's angry.
It's like, yeah, he's angry, but at the same token, like, how could the responsibility of saving his planet be all on Vulcan and the Vulcans? Like, that's not fair. And two, he has in control of, he's the captain of the most giant, most ridiculous ship ever that has the ability to like burrow into planets and do all this crazy shit. Like, how come they couldn't have done something to help save their planet?
Yeah.
Or, you know, clearly they had the technology to evacuate the people or do something.
If you want to know, this is all actually covered in the Countdown books, the comic books. And I'm not really a big fan of comic books myself, but I read through them and they were actually kind of neat. A little fan servicey, like they bring in like the Enterprise E and some other stuff, and like there's Data as captain and stuff, but like it does adequately explain his motivations. And the reason why his ship is so ridiculous isn't because his ship is just ridiculous. It's because his ship was a mining ship originally, and he was out doing his, you know, he's out there doing miner shit, like out there.
It's like a blue-collared worker in the future.
Yeah, he was out there doing his mining and you know, making stuff happen and blah, 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 you know, doing all that miner shit. And then he finds out that, like, I forgot the exact story, but somehow he meets up with Spock. Spock promises that he'll do everything he can to save, you know, the Romulan homeworld. And then it ends up not happening because Spock gets delayed or something. Something happens that keeps Spock from keeping his word the way he said he would. And so as one of the last remnants of, you know, the Romulan people, Nero is invited to go to this place. I can't remember what it was called. The Vault. It's called the Vault. It's this Tal Shiar, if you remember them, like the CIA of the Romulans. It's like this Tal Shiar base. It's like totally secret. I think it's cloaked and some other shit, so nobody would really be able to easily see it. And they have like Borg technology there that they were experimenting with. So they tossed nanoprobes into the ship, and it turned it into that monstrosity that you see there.
Oh,
so that's why it's so weird and spindly looking.
So I had an interesting debate with my friend from NVIDIA about The Last Jedi, and I was like, well, why is this happening? How come this crap, you know, why would this person ever do this? And he's like, well, man, you got to read the comics and the books, and you got to watch the Rebels TV show. And I was like, no, all I want to do is watch the movie. Like, I don't need to go out and fill in the blanks that they couldn't think of while they were writing the script. Like,
that is a fair point. And I'll give you that.
What matters is the movie.
Yeah, exactly. If you go and you watch the movie, it should all make some kind of contiguous sense within the story of the movie. So in that particular perspective, I will hand it to you. You are completely and utterly correct. However, just go read a comic book. That's how they do these things now. You know that. And you know we're going to do the same thing with System Shock. We're going to leave half the story out of the game. And then we're going to be like, go and get yourself a comic book, Sonny. Otherwise you won't know what the fuck's happening.
DLC.
Yeah. So, that's what we're going to do. Confirming it officially.
That is not what we're going to do.
Yeah, I know. We would never do that.
Beep boop.
Beep boop.
In all seriousness, though, this game does suffer from a lack of story, and it's only because a lot of the stuff that you need to know in this game is only in the damned Icebreaker manual, which you had to buy separately.
You did. Unless you get the Enhanced Edition on Steam right now, 50% off. There's a free
promote it.
There's a free copy of the Icebreaker in PDF form in there.
But yeah, the Icebreaker actually is a really cool companion, if nothing else, just because it shows you all the different logs and emails and whatnot that were like going to be or should have been part of the game. It just adds so much to the backstory, like about where the mutagenic virus comes from, and you know how Diego kind of like what his motivations were. Spoiler alert: money. Stuff like that. It's just
like any executive.
What about you, Steve? You're a CEO.
Dude, my motivation to start the entire company was just so I could play System Shock 2 again.
You are such a nerd.
It's an honorable cause.
You are such a nerd. I made a company so I could play System Shock 2, a game nobody knows about. That is...
Well, a lot of people knew about it, but...
It's awesome that you did that, man. Like, because you knew, I think, as well as anybody, like, this game had... or both these games really were, like, hell to run on modern PCs.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I went to go play it, and it was like... But that, you know, to be honest, I hadn't really tried to play a lot of old games before that. I just assumed that they were going to work, and then I was like, oh, crap, like, this stuff is busted.
Yeah, that's...
It busted.
It's busted.
That's an unfortunate side effect as technology continues to progress and get better. Other stuff doesn't really keep up and just doesn't work anymore. Like, I think an issue with System Shock 1, like, with some version of Windows, or even just by default, like, it would run at, like, light speed because CPUs were so much faster than it was actually able to understand.
Oh, yeah, I remember when that was a problem. Because a lot of the stuff back then, the frame rate was tied to the CPU speed. Yep. And so you would, like, go, hey, I want to play Dark Forces on a Pentium 3 700, and it would just be like running at 800 frames a second.
I'm just trying to imagine that. Like, you go to play a game and you get so many frames that you just can't even play.
It's like so, and your character speed is like tied to it too somehow. Yeah.
So you walk too fast.
Whoa, weird.
And that's no good. See, that's what we exist for, right? To make sure that doesn't happen anymore.
Yep. Oh yeah. Gotta go out there and find all the source code.
All the source code.
It's your life mission.
Yeah, we've uncovered quite a bit of source code.
Lucky. Source code to, like, random games?
Yeah.
Huh.
All
But
kinds
Steve,
of stuff.
when will you find your own source code?
My own source code?
Yeah.
Oh man.
To do that, he has to get his DNA.
I don't know.
sequenced.
I did actually.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that when you went to figure out, like, what, like, European ancestor you had?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did 23andMe.
Ah. I've been considering doing that, but
Yep.
I've got a...
Now listen, you're a serial killer.
What?
We'll know.
What? Oh.
You know,
My
like, because they found the Golden State Killer based off ancestral DNA from one of those sites.
Oh.
And that's how they caught him after
No
so
way.
long. Yeah! You didn't know that?
No.
I'll link you guys the article.
Maybe they should have run it on Ted Cruz so they can figure out if he's the Zodiac Killer yet.
There's
I think he's a lizard person.
There's actually, people think the serial killer Edward Edwardson, or Edward Edwards, I forgot which fake name he goes by. It's either
Did
Edward
you say
Edwards.
Edward Richardson?
No, Edwardson.
Edward Edwardson? Yeah, what an original name.
Anywho, they think he might be the Zodiac Killer because he actually turned out to be the potential killer of a lot of crazy things, like, and he was a known serial killer. And he showed up at, like, random crime cases all the time.
Like in the movie Zodiac?
Oh my god, imagine him showing up in the actual movie. No, he was imprisoned by that time.
Yeah.
Oh, already?
That's...
Like he'd been...
That's interesting.
That
is interesting. There's a... Have you ever played Deus Ex Mankind Divided?
Was that the first?
No, that was Human Revolution
ones?
was the first one.
Oh no, I didn't play the Mankind Divided.
So Mankind Divided is... There's a mission in there, like a side mission you can take. The game's incredibly short if you don't take the side missions. There's this one where this, like, cyborg chick walks up to you and she's like, I'm super scared for my life and I don't know what's going to happen to me, blah, blah, blah. And, like, it's next to this crime scene. And long story short, it turns out that she's, like a killer, essentially, and she's, like, hanging around the crime scene.
Typical.
Like,
I really enjoy true crime stuff. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts when, like, I'm getting ready or working out or driving.
Or committing crimes.
Hey, you have no proof.
driving and committing crimes almost goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Sometimes.
Don't mind me. I hate human driving with a burning passion.
So I linked in chat and I sent it to you on Discord, Steve. The NPR article of how they caught the Golden State Killer, and it has to do with ancestral DNA helping find him, because one of his like second or third cousins, something like that, submitted DNA, and then they found like that familial DNA linking to DNA found on crime scenes, which found him.
That's interesting. How many people did the Golden State Killer
It's really
kill?
cool. Oh, a lot. And not only did he kill before he became the Golden State Killer, he was a cop, by the way.
Oh.
So he had a lot of access to things. He was robbing people.
Damn.
I hate saying certain things like on stream, but he was like more than just a killer. He was also a rapist and like doing other things. All around abusing power.
Just a big sack of crap, right?
Just a bad dude.
Bad guy.
Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What game
It's
is
like
that?
I think it's called. You know what? I can't remember. Somebody in chat probably
Is it
knows.
Broforce
I think it's like.
or something?
I think the game is
Wait,
something like.
isn't that that's a reference to a?
No, it's a game. It's from a game. It's like from the beginning of the game.
It's like a fake video game.
No, it's pretty sure it's a real video game. It's like I think it's called Bad Dudes.
What?
Uh-oh. Did we lose? Did we drop?
Did we drop?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think you're. I
It's
think
back
you were
now.
just stuttering.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, Daniel is listening. He said Super Meat Boy is what they're referencing.
Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, Daniel to the rescue.
Oh, the president.
No, I'm pretty sure that's Bad Dudes. I'm sure that's what the game's called. It would not be Super Meat Boy because it was like a beat 'em up game. There's no way.
IDK. I'm just relaying information.
Yeah, it is literally called Bad Dudes, and it's like a picture of like this Tom Cruise looking guy from like think of him like from Top Gun with the sunglasses on and everything, and like blonde hair. So more like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess. And
I've seen bad dudes.
it's just like, are you a bad, like, it's like ninjas have kidnapped the president. Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president? It's one of the.
If we wanted to be pretty, it's like, are you bad enough, dude?
It's one of the dumbest things.
It's like the kind of thing where like you would rescue the president and he'd be like, "Okay, bad dudes. In exchange for rescuing my life, you can commit one crime for free.
Oh,
Damn.
what crime would that be? I wonder.
I will pardon a future crime."
But see, if you commit the crime and you get pardoned, it's an admission of guilt. So he could still be prosecuted
that's
by the
true.
state.
Oh, yep, that's right.
So maybe,
That's how they're gonna get him in real life.
yeah, those bad dudes.
Wah, wah.
That's who we're talking about, right? Video game characters.
Yes.
Beep boop, beep boop,
Beep
boop.
boop.
It's like the SpongeBob. Wee woo, wee woo.
Oh boy.
Wee woo.
Did I tell you that I'm trying to murder my Tamagotchi on purpose now?
Tamagotchi.
Oh,
Jesus, how old
no.
is that?
He got
I never
so
would
ugly.
expect you to do that.
Do they still make those?
I'm on the 8th.
Oh yes.
Yes. They've never stopped. I'm on the 7th generation child, and his genetics are terrible. So I'm gonna murder this family line and start again.
Oh no, don't.
I think there's a word for that.
My friend called it Tomicide. I like it.
Man, this.
It was popular. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a dark word. Not euthanasia.
Fratricide?
Nope. Eugenics.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
Did you know that Star Trek had a eugenics page?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
so
He's a Tamagotchi
I
eugenicist.
did. So I did think about that, and that's why I feel guilty.
It doesn't sound like you feel guilty.
No, it's been a really emotional day for me.
Oh, okay.
Have you,
Don't make fun of me,
speaking of that,
please.
have you ever heard of that guy that, like, goes on, The Sims, and, like, he makes, like, one of his, Sims, like, a freak that has to stay inside the basement, and he has, like, no social skills at
Yeah.
all.
That's an old copy pasta.
But, like,
Yeah, that's a good
But he has
meme.
like no social skills at all, for those of you who haven't heard yet. And like, he looks ugly as hell, looks like a goblin, he's got like green skin, and all he does is like make paintings.
That's your opinion.
Doesn't he order like 900 VR sets?
No, he makes
Like
paintings.
VR
he's got, like,
headsets
a
or
ton
something?
of like artistic skill, and he just makes paintings
Does
and he
he?
sells the paintings.
I don't
I've
remember that
seen it.
part.
I seem to recall he like buys like, and he like ends up making his parents like mortgage their house like a couple times so he can live out this
Oh
fantasy.
my gosh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
something like that.
I think,
I don't remember that part, but it sounds funny.
well, since this stream is ostensibly about texturing the reactor level and not so much about video game references and stuff, I'm saying I made a pretty damn good amount of progress when I've got a bunch of people to chat with. This thing's really coming together quick. We had a little bit of a slowdown when we had to do some legit stuff, but now that we are past that, I've been able to kind of breeze through this thing again. So,
I would like to make a PSA.
what's that?
Ba-dum-bum.
Transformers the movie, the
Okay, I didn't expect that.
1986 masterpiece is going to be in theaters nationwide on September 27 through Fathom Events.
Ah,
One night only. You can see it in person in the theater. Do not miss it.
that's Fathom Events. That's who I saw the Blu-ray release of the TNG remaster with. I think it was like $40 a ticket.
Yep,
Totally worth it.
that sounds about right.
Totally worth
Yeah,
it.
Fathom Events, they do some really cool stuff. We normally go to the Rift Tracks Live thing, the MST3K guys. They do these
That'd be so
live
much
events, and they're broadcast to movie theaters all over the country for like usually 1 or 2 nights, and they're really fun to go to. But yes, Transformers the movie. Be there,
Or have a social life.
be square.
Damn.
That was mean. I'm
Ouch.
sorry. I mean, I'm mostly sorry.
It's like the only thing I wanted for my birthday.
Was-
Let me have this.
Transformers the movie? Did you want it?
I wanted to go see it in the theater.
Did you want
Yeah.
to go see the Super Mario Brothers movie too?
No.
God, what a nightmare of a movie that was, man. Have you ever watched it?
I haven't, but I've watched reviews of it.
I think I would rather watch a David Lynch
I
film.
have watched it.
What do you mean?
You don't
David
like?
Lynch is
That
awesome.
was a weird call out.
Have you ever watched Eraserhead?
Yes.
I have it on Criterion Edition
Or the-
It
Blu-ray.
is
I'm not
fucking
surprised that you
weird.
do, actually.
Weird.
Just like regular chickens?
Sure. I actually have to admit, one of his movies. I mean, I didn't hate Eraserhead. It was just weird, man. It was like weird, not in the sense that it was bad, but it just made me feel uncomfortable watching it.
Right? That's what's so great about it.
Did you
It just...
see Mulholland Drive, the other one that he made?
Oh yeah, we had a whole stream
We did have a
session
combo
where we,
about it.
yeah, where we talked about Mulholland Drive, because I just recently saw that movie.
Yeah, I saw that in my last year of college, like actually my last semester. I had the ability to take an elective, so I just took film theory and just kind of sat there and watched movies the whole time, and it was just like, man, this is fun.